Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Let's not. Let's talk about other people's sex lives.
Other people's, yes, let's do that. Can I just do the rap bit? Let's talk about sex and now to the people at home or in the crowd. That's like my favourite song when I was like 7. It's quite wrong, really.
That's very wrong.
It is.
Anyway, we'll solve that problem another day. Welcome back to another one of our dating vlogs. I'm Nick. That's
Evana.
Hello. So yeah, last time we were together, we talked about first dates, which then led into when should you get it on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all about freedom and happiness on that one.
Yeah, so you basically said, you know, no games, whatever, we're adults, let's do what you want, do what you want.
Yeah.
But then I was like, not so much. You also did say after that, but if I do bang you on the first date, soz love, probably not going to see you again.
Well, and let me clarify on that. I think that that's entirely relative to what the prerequisite is for having that date in the first place, because this actually came up today. Had a hell of a morning, but basically today I was accosted as being a what did I say it was, womanizing and objectifying women and being misogynistic and all of these sorts of things, and this is,
Which you're not at all.
well, I don't think I am, but I mean, I think misogynistic humour can be funny when used in a context of pointing out a problem. But anyway, that's another thing to get into. But the reason that I thought all of this was funny is that was coming from somebody who was sending me nudes like 5-10 times a day, like pictures and video.
Wow.
Insinuating a sexual encounter, or many sexual encounters, which by the way has still not happened, but like I don't want to now anyway, because like crazy.
Oh dear. Alright, so what about if you really, really liked the girl? When do you think would be a appropriate time to get in the sack?
I don't know. I think it's not necessarily relative to a sliding scale of, third date means sex. I think it's entirely down to, are you confident enough in this person that engaging in that kind of activity is going to make it better, not worse.
True. Yeah, I think a lot of, I'm just generalizing, I think a lot of people, particularly women, probably, can't really separate sex and their emotions. I think, obviously, again, just generalizing, I'm sure there are some that can go out and have one night stands and whatnot and not kind of give a shit the next day. But I think it's a very fine line between.
I think everybody will have emotions about someone they sleep with one way or another, just because it's such a personal experience.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's what you do with those feelings that defines whether or not you're the kind of person that can be a sleeper around it.
Sleeper around it.
I mean, I sure remember the days when I used to play in bands and I was on the road a lot. I did my time of being a sleeper around it. And like, it didn't make me feel any better for it. I mean, at the time it was like, oh wow, she was so hot, or oh man, it was like, check out my tally. It's like ridiculous. But from an emotional point of view, do I think it's made me damaged? No. I think if anything, it's made me appreciate different people more.
Yeah. I just know that, obviously me talking to girlfriends, I talk to girlfriends a lot of, who are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, hook up with this dude tonight, I've been texting this dude, sending the pictures, whatever, and then the next day I've had the phone call that,
shouldn't have slept with that dude.
In tears, devastated.
Why is she in tears?
Or, whatever, because she feels shit about herself, or, a few days later he still hasn't called, and it's just like, oh my god.
Oh, interjection, pro tip, if a guy wants to call you, he will call you.
Yeah, so that's another thing. It's like, obviously, I don't know, it's just, it's a bit crazy. I just think...
Wait, when you say, my friend, I have a friend, asking on behalf.
Hey, it's been so long for me, it's not even an option to talk about right now.
See, I think that one thing that people do miss a lot in the dating world is, I don't want to say accountability, but certainly like the whole experience where instead of just like you say, you know, oh, he didn't call, he never called, or you know, something like that. It's like, well, how about instead of not calling, you know, if it's someone that you've gone on a Tinder date with and then you decide that you don't want to talk to them anymore or whatever, just validate it. Just say, hey, look, no, I've met somebody else off Tinder, or you know, actually, to be honest, didn't really enjoy our time together, so I think I'm going to keep looking, or whatever. Just validate that shit, you know? Like, at least be straight up and say, not for me, thanks very much.
That's a whole nother conversation here, is the whole, just being upfront and honesty, and the fact that so many people these days play games, and it screws with people's heads. You know, these poor girls that do wait, you know, 3 or 4 days to hear from a guy because he's been told by his friends or by society and men in general to wait 3 days before you message her so you don't act too keen. I'm sorry, but I've moved on after 3 days.
I was never told that.
See, well, that's a general, you know, from people I've talked to, from guys I've talked to, is that it's the 3-day rule. It's a thing. 3-day rule.
The other one, like, I'll be driving home and be like, that was great.
Yes, because personally, that's what I like. If I go on a date with a guy, I'm not talking about sex now, I'm just talking about dating. But, well, if I had sex with him on the date, well, maybe. If he doesn't message that night to, like, check I got home safe, say, hey, I had a really great time tonight, or at least, like, the following morning to say, hey, last night was awesome, I really enjoyed your company, I can't wait to see you again, then I'm like, well...
I think, but definitely if sex is involved and you haven't heard from them by midday the next day, I think that in itself is a sign that, I mean, like, put it this way.
Yeah.
If I went, I mean, again, if, ideal scenario, if I've had a special night with someone who I've been on a few dates with and I quite fancy, worst case scenario, I'll message them the next, like, if like, you know, I drove home and I don't know, I couldn't think because I was all like, you know, blurry headed or whatever, because it was so
drove home and
amazing.
went to bed and slept all day.
Or whatever it was, you know, but as soon as I get up, if she's not the first person that I'm thinking about, and I, like, if that's the case, I will message her, you know. If I'm thinking about you, I'll message her. You know, doesn't know necessarily what it'll be, you know, but hey, you know, last night was great. Where did you learn to do that thing with your tongue? Whatever it is. Whatever it is I want to communicate that as soon as possible, because, you know, if I don't feel that urge to communicate, then I think that's at the time where it's like, well, hang on a minute, maybe you should probably say, hey, look, thanks for a great night, but, you know...
Yeah, instead of letting her wait and stew and wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
So...
It's like it's like a massive version of being like unmatched on Tinder and not knowing why. And I think that's what a lot of people probably get hung up on about. And like, I know that I've been hung up on it before. Like I don't really care these days. But like, you know, as an example, you know, being unmatched on Tinder is like, well, why did you unmatch me? You know, like, at least validate my curiosity as to what you saw initially versus what you then discovered later on. Where was the change of heart? Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really worry about that sort of stuff these days, but, you know, and certainly in my youth, I would have been really hung up on that.
I think, going back to sex, our conversation of the day, I think, obviously, alcohol and drugs and other stimulants as such, I think they have a huge role to play in people and when they do have sex. For example, you know, going out to clubs and pubs, drinking, getting drunk, and then taking someone home, whereas they may not necessarily do that if they were sober.
I'm way better if I'm high, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I'm drunk, don't even think about it. If I'm high, like, you're in for a good time.
Yeah, I just think that, I think a lot of people do it far too soon.
Well, I think the problem is that things like alcohol are the great lubricant of emotions. You know, so I mean, it can very easily turn something that was going to be, oh, I'll just go and like, you know, we can just cuddle, to, oh, what's that poking me in the back? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that in a drunken state, you can not necessarily take advantage of, but you can certainly free yourself up to being open to something that you might not necessarily have considered had you been sober.
Sounds like my entire life.
It's a bit sad.
Oh dear. Well, I don't know. I reckon, like, you know how Cosmo whatever, magazines, they'll all be like, girls, make sure you wait until like the 5th date or whatever it is. Do you think if a girl was to make a guy wait, it would give you more respect for her, or like, what do you think?
Well, again, that depends if she either A, read it in Cosmo, or B, is on the same mentality that I am. I mean, if that conversation came, like, if it was like first date and it was like, okay, hypothetical. Let's say that I went out on a date with a girl that I actually liked, and I knew that I liked her, and I was going to make an effort on the date, as much effort as I put in, those of you that have seen our photos before. And I actually liked her, then, and the opportunity for sex came up on the first date, I'd say, hey, you know what? Like, good things, good things take time, If it somehow came out that, oh no, Cosmo said I had to wait until the 5th date, if it was that, then I'd be like, well, you're a moron.
Yeah.
Why are you believing what you read in a magazine?
Yeah.
And the same, like, don't take what we say as gospel either. I mean, make up your own mind.
I just, personally for me, I think that, I mean, on the path that I'm on right now, I personally want to wait till I really have a connection with someone, and I personally think that other people obviously should do the same. If you're looking for something really special, if you're not, then go and do what you want.
Well, have fun. I mean, I guess for me is that, like, I don't know anyone at the moment who I would want to take seriously in a relationship, right? So, I mean, like, I've been on and off Tinder a couple of times since our last video. I'll go on it for like 6 hours and be like, this sucks, and I'll delete it. Anyway, but my point being is that, like, again, I've said it before, the opportunity cost of being engaged in one type of relationship against something that you're actually looking for can be quite high, and I don't want to waste the opportunity of meeting someone actually cool that I actually will get really into. Because
you're investing your time into...
Well, because I had a 1 or 2 night stand with some person who just now won't leave me alone.
See, but that's another thing you just said, who won't leave you alone, because she's she can't separate that giving her body to giving her emotion and mind, soul.
But I mean, to be fair,
Messy,
I guess,
messy.
I mean, like, I don't think that I'm that good that I should be chased that much. Like, just being realistic here, like, I don't understand why someone, and this is another problem, back to honesty though, is that you can say, hey, look, I'm only here for the, like, you can straight up say, look, only here for the sex, that's it,
I appreciate that when people say that, like, on Tinder, if they write there, just down for just DTF, whatever it is, it's like, thanks for being honest. Swiping, what way? That way. Swiping the no.
Depends if he's pretty or not.
No.
But my point being is that what annoys me is when you can sit down and have a very logical and calm conversation, say, look, I think you're cool, I don't think we've got anything in common, but I'm not going to say that, it's far too rude, but let's engage physically and purely only physically. And they're like, yeah, that sounds cool, that's cool as, keen as.
And but then, how many guys, you tell him, or how many people would say to someone, don't like your personality, let's bang, and get a high five?
No, I wasn't. No, I'm saying that's me. I've said that.
No, I know, but I mean, get a home run from that.
Oh, right.
I think most people would be like, no.
Well, didn't you just say that you appreciate honesty?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's not going to work. On Tinder, it's different because obviously you're going to have girls on there as well that are like, yep, cool.
Maybe I should try that. I'll just put a photo of,
a
good photo of my face and like a picture of my ass and be like, for sale, cheap.
For sale. You need to have 2.
Short-term rental.
I've seen a guy on there that has 2 different profiles. I don't know how he does it in terms of it syncing to Facebooks. He must have 2 different Facebooks. I'm not sure. But he's got one, not like nice one, like, hey ladies, I'm blah blah blah, da 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 da. Nice photos with clothes on. And he's got another one that is.
How do you know it's the same guy?
Because his face, the same face, same tattoos, and he's got photos of like bondage and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, oh, you sneaky little cheeky monkey.
See, I mean, I guess for me, I mean, like, I actually had that conversation with, like, last night I got on Tinder again, kind of research for this, honest. I was bored. And yeah, like within 5 minutes matched a girl, and then she unmatched me, which was a shame because she was quite cute.
Why?
I don't know, ask her.
That's such a guy thing.
Anyway, and then the next one that I got chatting with her, spoke with her most of the day, and just chatting back and forth, and she very openly said that she's just out of a relationship, not really, and only looking for friendship. And I said, look, I straight up
What does friendship mean? Was she actually looking for friendship, or was she actually looking for friendship?
Well, I don't know, and therein lay the thing is that you'll never know. So I can. So I just turned around. I was like, well, like, you know, like, hey, I'm up for, you know, always looking for something, you know, special. But you know, if that's not a thing, you know, hey, like, I do this thing with my tongue, and some people seem to like it.
Oh dear. Okay, so basically, you think do whatever you want.
As long as everybody, well, I think the problem with my logic is that nobody else is as straight up and honest as we are.
No.
And I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people watching this at home, like all the 10 people to watch last time, that said, you know, that'll be like, oh, you know, I'm that kind of honest too. But when it actually comes down to the crunch, of actually having a serious conversation about emotions and that sort of stuff, I think honesty goes out the window.
Also, the not wanting to hurt people's feelings. You know, you might think you're an honest person, but if you're not willing to sit someone down and say, look, it's not, you know, it's not working, and you're kind of trying to let them down, you're trying to let them down easy,
Evana,
then that's not being honest.
I don't want to get naked with you. Because I don't want to date you.
I already saw you on the toilet before, so you kind of have got half naked with me. Anywho,
check that out on Instagram.
Instagram. So, yeah, trying to let people down easy and taking so long to do it, it's leading them on, and it's not being honest, you know?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I think unless you can actually just, yeah, it's not easy, you know, and I don't think anyone's advocating that it is easy, but I think it's just that, you know, if we came from a place of sincerity and honesty, that it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I wonder back in the day, you know, like when you look at things like arranged marriages and, you know, marrying for, what is that? I saw something online the other day. It's like, I want to treat you like a princess. No, what is that? Girls wanted to be treated like a princess, and so they get used as political pawns to marry off to strengthen political relations with another region, you know. like I'm kind of keen to like meet someone from Tauranga and then just like get married to her just to strengthen the regions, you know, like I don't necessarily have to, like, it just makes so much sense. Like arranged marriages actually make a lot of sense, basing it off, you know, finances and like political reasons. Yeah,
but then you're stuck in a relationship that potentially you might not like even sitting next to that person, being in the same room.
But you would learn to tolerate it.
Ugh. So what's our verdict? What's our verdict of this sex?
Do what you want. Everyone's going to get it wrong.
Yeah. We're all screwed anyway.
Don't listen to us, because we're no better than anybody else.
Oh no. I think no matter if it's relationship or sex or whatever it is, just try and be honest with the person, you know.
Honest, sincere, and I think the big one that I think most people need to get over is take a punt, you know. Like, if you think that you want a bit of this, just say, hey Nick, I think you're cool, like, I want to take you out for a drink.
Actually, that's true as well, because I think we've discussed this in our first vlog about how I've only ever been approached and asked on a date like twice in my life.
You asked me out for pizza last week.
So, like, you know what I mean? So you imagine how many people just don't have the balls to go up to a girl that they like and go, hey, how's, you know, do it, why not? You know, you might be pleasantly surprised.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you might get knocked back, but I mean, like you said yourself, nobody's ever asked you out anyway, so you'd be pretty stoked if somebody did.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Do you like Sal's?
Me? Oh, right. Yeah.
No, that would be my first
I love Sal. Anyway, we've rambled along enough, so thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. I don't know what we'll talk about next time.
Maybe under the video, if you've got any ideas for what we can talk about next time, leave us a comment.
Oh,
And we'll
okay, that's actually a good one.
Yeah.
Where do you do it badly, and then or
do it badly or
no,
do
well, not
life.
sex. Well, no, well, like dating relationships.
Where do you do
whatever.
life badly?
You know, like yeah, and like maybe what's some stuff that you're battling with that maybe we can help with, maybe. I don't know, but like if you want to do like a, you know, send in a thing and like, you know, we can make it completely anonymous. If you just want to get involved and we can talk about your problems instead of ours, like that'd be cool.
Yes.
I think Evana will secretly really enjoy reading all of those.
Yeah, I'd love it.
Just either message one of the Facebook pages, probably the Empire Facebook page, or just email me, Nick, NIC at theempire.nz, and that'll be graphics down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk about your stuff. Just let us know if you want it to be anonymous or if you want to come and get in on one of these videos. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you later.
See yous.